Hello and welcome to the Booksplosion Book of the Month live show for Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. We are working with Random House on this one. It's our February book of the month. This is a standalone thriller, and we'll get into a brief synopsis and non-spoilery thoughts in a second. But first, let's introduce ourselves here. Hi, I'm Kat from the channel Katytastic.
I'm Christine from Poland Anonymous Books.
I'm Jesse from the channel jessethereader.
And we're Booksplosion! For this live show today, we are taking questions from you guys on Twitter with the hashtag SecretSplosion, or you can chat in the YouTube chat. And we're going to try to keep an eye on it, but sometimes it can move fast. So Twitter is a little bit easier for us to pick out your questions. But yeah, do one of you guys want to give a brief blurby synopsis of the book?
I can do it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so our main character, oh my god, I just forgot her name.
Ellery.
Oh yeah, Ellery. So our main character, Ellery, has a twin, and her brother, his name is, I forgot everyone's names. Well, her and her brother, what is his name?
Ezra.
Ezra! Oh yeah. Okay, so her and her brother have to go move in with their grandma for reasons that might be spoilers, so I won't tell you. And so they have never really lived with this grandma. It's across the country. She lives in, I want to say Maine or
Vermont. She lives on the...
It's up on the East Coast.
Pretty sure it's Vermont.
I think it's very close to Vermont.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I read this 2 weeks ago now, and the details are falling. Anyway, so she lives in Vermont, and she lives in this small town where all of these suspicious murdery things happen. And starting with her aunt, who is her mom's sister, years ago, when she was 17, disappeared on homecoming night, and they've never found her. Okay, so her mom, as soon as she could, moved away from that town to the other side of the country. And now they're being forced to move back and live with their grandma for a certain amount of months in this town where just 5 years ago, another girl disappeared at homecoming. So there's a more recent disappearance. And now suspicious crap is going on in the town, and it's scary. And our lead character, she loves mysteries, so she takes it upon herself to theorize and try to figure it out.
Yeah, there's so many mysteries and secrets because we have the mystery surrounding the disappearance 25 years ago, and then there's the mystery surrounding the murder 5 years ago, and now there's more mysterious, secretive stuff happening, and yeah, we're just trying to get to the bottom of it and uncover all the secrets and mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's also one thing that surprised me, because a lot of the synopsis focuses on Ellery, is that it's a dual point of view story, and the other character is a boy named Malcolm, who is kind of involved in the mystery from 5 years ago, that disappearance, or that murder, because the girl who was killed was dating Malcolm's older brother, and he was a big suspect in that murder case. So Malcolm and his family also has experience and are also tied to these disappearances and murders that have been happening. And it's just goes back and forth between Ellery and Malcolm as, Ellery moves here and they meet, and they both have these histories with the previous mysteries and disappearances and murders, and now more stuff is going on, and both of them are kind of under the microscope from other people in the town because they both have these histories with the other experiences.
What did you guys feel about it? Non-spoilery thoughts.
Non-spoilery thoughts. Should I kick us off with that?
Kick us off, Jesse.
Okay, I will. So I haven't read many thrillers, so with that being said, I did really enjoy this. I don't know if it's necessarily considered one of the greatest thrillers out there. I haven't read very many, but I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a pretty well-developed thriller. I liked how everything came together in the end. I liked kind of the build-up. I kind of wanted a bit more of a punch with the ending, but I still really liked it. I still didn't see it coming. So there's that. I just like really like Karen M. McManus's characters. I feel like she does a really good job with like developing her characters. Even I've read One of Us is Lying, her first book as well, and I really felt like the characters were a standout in that. And I can say the same thing about this book. So I really liked that. I liked kind of the family dynamics. I loved seeing the relationship with Ellery and her grandmother. That was one of my favorite like elements in the story, even though we don't get that much of it. And I had some pretty wild theories while reading this book, which we'll get to. I'm excited to talk about those. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that, like, I don't read a ton of thrillers either, but one thing that I kind of like look for in a thriller is one that keeps me guessing and like where I don't know what to think, and I have like a bunch of theories, and it's not like super easy for me to see like who the killers are. And so I really appreciated that about this book, is because like, especially for the first half, had so many wild theories that I can't wait to get into. But yeah, and I also really enjoyed the characters and the family relationships. I loved how parents were like present and involved in the story, and like these teenagers could still have their adventures and like investigate these things without the parents being like, or parental figures being completely absent from the picture.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the family too. Like, I think Karen McManus's strong point in both of these books are the characters, like you guys were talking about. She does a really good job making them feel well-rounded and real, and like, you know, all of them. And their relationships with each other are really fun to watch unfold and develop and everything like that. I really enjoyed the thriller. I thought there was such a good build-up, but I don't know if it's because I started off my reading career reading all of Dan Brown's books, and they're packed with like crazy twists and turns, and that's like what Dan Brown is good at, keeping you on the edge of the seat with these plot twists. Say what you want, like, I can't put down those books. Now this book, like, I could not put it down, but at the end I just wasn't as like like with the punch. I feel like Jesse said, I wanted a little bit more, but that happens so often to me now when I read a thriller. The last time I was like, was Little Monsters. Like, I loved One of Us is Lying too, but at the end I was like, oh, I predicted this in the first 3 chapters. Damn it! Like, I just want to be surprised. But I really enjoyed this thoroughly, and the end did have a sufficient creep factor. I think also I'm looking to be creeped out to the extreme when I read a thriller, and this was like creepy, like 50% creep factor.
I agree with you. I wanted to go like a little bit farther.
Yeah,
a little bit darker.
I was like, okay, come on, deliver, kind of cut short. So
yeah, I want to be like a little scared, like by how dark it gets, and this is like on the lighter side as far as darkness.
And also because we didn't really have like one solid scary suspect until like the very end. So like, we didn't have a lot of buildup of like being scared of like ultimately the person or persons who were behind it. But I think we should jump into spoilers now. So, yeah. Because
spoilers.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if we mentioned this, we're taking questions on Twitter using #SecretSplosion.
Secretsplosion.
Yes.
So spoilers. So the stuff that was being lied, like the blocker stuff and all those threats, those, whilst like scary to get a threat, felt very juvenile in their threats, right?
Yeah.
Like, they weren't as scary. So right off the bat, I was like, it's one of these 3 bitches who are doing it. Like, you know, like I saw Viv coming there.
That was my main theory for a lot of the book. I thought that Viv was behind like the things like for a journalism article, but I thought she was actually behind like killings, like she was actually behind Brooke's disappearance somehow. Like, I thought it wasn't just a journalism article. I thought she was going to be like, you know, trying to like kill her friend so that she could like write an article about it and like be made. And also a couple of references to Viv's sort of not exactly a mentor, but like the woman that she looked up to, who was like also from Echo Ridge, and she like had broken into the story before. Like, I thought maybe Viv had found out that like she was the killer from the past and was like replicating what she was doing to try to like get in, and or like using that to blackmail her. I don't know. I had a ton of wild theories about Viv.
Yeah, I also like thought Corinne, I was in on it for a while because she was too calm, I feel like, about everything. And I liked that it ended up being that she wasn't even in on like her car hitting the guy. Right? She didn't know, because when that happened, I was like, holy shit. I didn't see that coming, and that was cool. Okay, sorry. And that was cool, and it was really cool that she wasn't involved at all until the point. Wait, she put up the sign, so she started started helping Viv because she found out her dad was involved.
Yeah,
right.
Or she was like suspicious about it. Like it started to add up.
Distract him or distract them from seeing him as a suspect, right?
Yeah. That was like, dude, your dad's horrible.
That was interesting.
Do it.
My theories were like a lot different than your guys'.
Yeah, what were your theories?
Mine were so off, but listen. My first suspect was the grandma. It's her own daughter. She could have easily killed her own daughter. And then when they're driving to the airport to the house, they find a dead body. She could have easily killed that person right before she brought them home. So that was my first theory. Obviously, it didn't come true. Then I thought maybe it was Sadie. Sadie's not actually off at this.
I did suspect Sadie had more to do, for like that she had more information that she wasn't giving. And I really, you know, I really loved that conversation when her and Ellery finally, like Ellery was like, you never tell me anything, da, 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 and her mom started crying. It was done really well in the audiobook. I started crying. She said she can't talk about it, and she like, you have to, and it was really nice. They finally kind of broke through that wall.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that she did have more to do with it, and I like that theory about the grandma. I think that would have been real dark.
I was just thinking because like, if the person today that's doing these killings also killed Sarah, then they would have had to have been older. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I never really like targeted one of the younger kids.
Yeah. So I kind of targeted the whole McNulty family because like the two kids were the right ages for both of the more recent murders, and the dad, who was a cop, was the right age for Sarah's disappearance. And also like when they were talking about how like Daisy gave, or no, was it Daisy who gave the bracelet to the police about Lacey's bracelet? Yeah, before she said that she gave it to Ryan Rodriguez, like I assumed she gave it to McNulty and he like hid it or something and like dismissed the evidence because the McNultys were behind it. But it turns out that the kids are just kind of assholes.
Yeah.
I just remembered my huge theory the whole time. So I really wanted this to be real. So I thought that it was going to turn out that who we know as Sadie is actually Sarah.
And we had a tweet about that that said, was I from Wicked West? Was I the only one that thought Sarah wasn't dead but pretending to be Sadie? And I
like that line from the grandmother. How they like were so good at pretending to be each other. So I was like, oh my god, that's so cool, but it wasn't.
Even that line at the end that we get is very telling of like how much they were alike too. How Peter's like the mom or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like what an amazing last line to the book. Like that just made me like close the book. Like wow, that was good. It was a nice little punch at the end.
Yeah, I would like to know about Sadie and Peter's relationship because we know that like he was an ex, but we don't really get details on like why they broke up and why he wanted to kill her, because I feel like he wanted. Did he kill his past wives?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm really interested in that. We have a question from Mackenzie, and they ask like, did Sadie and Peter date? And they did, but it's only mentioned in like one brief line where like they're like recapping some.
There's one other line where he mentions that like
that he did,
really quickly.
Like I want to know the motive there as well. But I'm assuming it's just because like she was off with the Vance and she was like with the other guy now. And that's why he did it. But I don't know. We like
She might have been his first victim because he was young. And
yeah, she probably was.
yeah.
I mean, hopefully, like, who knows how many victims this guy has? He's obviously really messed up and really evil.
Obviously really good at it because they never found her body.
Right.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like, Sarah,
I wanted her to have closure and like find her body.
Yeah. Did you guys ever suspect the cop Rodriguez?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think it had something to do with it.
Yeah. I thought we were gonna have multiple killers.
Yeah.
That he was maybe the one who killed Lacey, or had something to do with her death. Like he was involved somehow and felt guilty about it or something.
Like so.
I really liked the twist about how he was actually like their half brother.
Yeah.
And like the whole parental twist, like that was, I didn't see that coming, and that was really good.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was really great too. It was really nice because they felt so alone there. But also, going back to what you said a second ago, I completely forgot my train of thought. What did you say before the half brother?
Did you suspect Ryan at all, or?
Yeah, I forgot my thought. Jesse did.
I was just saying that like she made it to where almost everybody could have done it. Like,
oh, yeah, okay. So I was thinking for a little bit that it was kind of like a murder on the Oriental Express. Orient Express. Oh my god! I was like, what is it called?
Christina's sick right now, so
yeah, sorry, I had a cold.
So forgive them.
Like where everyone kind of was in on it.
Yeah.
From that grade, because they all came back at the same time, so it was like really suspicious and weird.
And even like the description of the book is like, this town is full of secrets, so it's like it could have easily been like everybody was involved on all these killings or something.
Yeah,
which would have been interesting, but yeah.
Okay.
So what did you guys think of the romance, of the relationship between our two main characters?
I liked it. I wanted more. I always do.
Yeah, I feel like we just got like a peek of it. It was just like kind of a slow burn situation.
I like seeing from Malcolm's point of view, and I like when Mia was like, "Did you do the thing? Did you do it?" And he's like, "Shut up."
I really loved Mia and Ezra too. Like I liked our little group of four, of the twins and Malcolm and Mia, who were already friends. Because they had a fun group dynamic, and like when they were all investigating together. And I also liked how there was that moment where like Malcolm was kind of suspicious because he was the last person who saw Brooke before she disappeared. Like he dropped her off.
I also liked the moment when Malcolm and Ellery first kiss.
Yeah, that was, and I like that they had homecoming together.
Yeah, I wanted, like, they had that little date, and then Peter was there, and it was so weird.
Yeah.
And his mom was like, "Do you want any snacks, guys?" It was like Mean Girls. And she was like nervous that he was gonna kill her or something. She doesn't want anything suspicious happening with her other son.
We haven't really talked about Declan yet. What did you guys think of Declan?
Is his name Declan?
Declan, Malcolm's brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked how their relationship developed. I like how the end, how they had that talk.
Yeah, that was nice. He was like afraid he was going to get beat up by his brother, and he was like, no.
And he like came and rescued him when he was getting beat up. That was a nice moment.
Yeah, that was.
What did you guys think of like the reveal with Daisy and him dating?
I thought that was interesting. Like I didn't foresee exactly what was happening there ahead of time, but I did feel like something was up there. I was suspicious of Declan for a while because he was, you know,
suspicious.
Yeah, and Malcolm kept talking about how he gets angry easily and he has like that hair trigger. And yeah, like, but again, he couldn't have made Sarah disappear or couldn't have killed Sarah. So it was like, that's why I kept juggling the idea of like multiple killers and like people kept trying to like emulate each other and stuff.
I didn't I didn't understand like when Declan was in town or whatever, he texted Malcolm and he's like, I'm in town, don't freak out. Like, why would you text your brother that? Like,
Yeah, that was a weird thing.
Suspicious.
It's like a small town thing, like,
yes.
because everyone's gonna say something to him, like your brother's a killer. But
it like makes him more suspicious, I feel like.
Yeah. Did we know stuff was happening at that time? Maybe that's why he did it. Like something had already happened, one of those like weird locker things or the graveyard thing.
It was the Viv was doing her like suspicious painting and like the lockers.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, it could be your brother if your brother was here. And then he was there and he's like, could you not show up when suspicious things are happening? But yeah, I suspected Declan for a little bit, but I didn't think he completely did it because it was the obvious choice. It was the obvious answer.
I thought it was interesting how Ellery was like, it's always the boyfriend, and like it was the boyfriend. It just happened to be
a different boyfriend.
This older guy who was like trolling after teenage girls, and like even with Sadie and Sarah, like he was an ex-boyfriend, but like a more recent ex, I think. I don't know. We don't have a ton of details about the Sadie and Peter relationship.
Yeah, when we found out that it had been Katrin's car that hit Mr. Rodriguez, I immediately thought that Katrin and Viv maybe got together to take out Brooke because Brooke wanted to tell people. Like, and that was like oh my gosh, this is gonna be it. This is like, and then it wasn't, which I liked.
I definitely entertained that theory as well for a little bit.
We have a cool comment here in the chat from Mackenzie. Have you guys seen Heathers? That like
I never finished it because it got really dark and weird, but I did watch like the first 3 quarters.
Well, Mackenzie says that she realized that Brooke was Heather McNamara, I don't know, one of the characters. Viv was Heather Duke, and the other one of the other popular ones was Heather Chandler. So it was like a reference to that movie. Kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but
that's cool. I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But yeah, okay. So we have a couple questions about one from Sydney who says, "How would you feel about a sequel? Do you think one would be necessary?" And one from Wicked West who says, "Do you think there should be a second book, or do you think it's better left with some of these questions unanswered?"
I wouldn't mind a sequel. Like I really like these characters, and I think it'd be cool to like see them solve something else. But like, it's a small town, and like, what else could happen?
Yeah, these are like all the murders that have happened in this town's history, and we just figured them all out.
I feel like it would be interesting to see like Sadie growing up, if there was any
one from the past.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm down for this to be left as is.
Yeah,
I feel like
I kind of don't want Sadie to ever find out what Peter's words to Ellery were, and like that he had killed Sarah thinking she was Sadie, because like, yeah, she already felt so much guilt that she like wasn't with her twin sister, like, and that's why she went missing. She already blames herself a lot, and like find out that it was like even more her fault. Like it would just be heartbreaking. So I hope this stays a standalone, because if there was a sequel, Sadie would have to find that information out, and that would be very sad and hard to deal with.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like she will eventually put 2 and 2 together. Like,
or like if Peter goes to trial and stuff, and they're like they start investigating everything again, like it might come out. Poor Sadie.
It's really sad. But yeah, I like these one-off mystery books. I feel like they feel better that way. It's like closed. It's, you have nothing open to keep investigating.
And like we, the reader, know all of the secrets. Like we might not know all the details about like how exactly Peter killing Sarah went down, and like where did her body go? Like why was he good at hiding that body and not any of the other bodies? So like there are still a little bit of like mysteries and unanswered questions, but not ones that I necessarily need answered, because like all the big ones feel resolved. Like I'm definitely okay with leaving these characters where they are.
Yeah, and with these intricate mysteries, like you do have to be paying attention to all the names and remember everything. And if that had to carry over into another book, you're gonna forget the little details and
with like the year in between books and stuff like that.
It's gonna complicate things.
Yeah, because one of my like least favorite aspects of this book, I guess, or like a kind of a con, was just that I was a little confused by all the names in the beginning, because it's like there's Daisy and Lacey and Liz and Declan and Mia and Ezra. There's just so many characters, which I feel like is important to have in a thriller, because you need to have like so many aspects and like so many different people that it could be. But at times keeping track of like who everyone was and like what their relationships with everyone else were, it was just a little bit confusing at times.
Yeah. Damn it! My thoughts are just keeps getting lost. I had a thought. What were you just
about character names? Lots of characters.
Oh yeah. So that's why I literally had to read along. I had the audiobook because I wanted to keep reading, but like I had to like read it with my eyes as much as possible, because that really helps me like know everyone's name and know all the details and all that stuff.
Yeah. So we have a question here that's kind of an asking for clarification question. Did we ever find out why the teacher was killed? I can't remember.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting piece of the story, because it wasn't like directly related to the girls going missing. But it sounds like the teacher was killed in an accidental hit and run. But it was, what are the names? Peter and Brooke, who were like in the car that did it. And that's why Brooke like felt so guilty. And that's why Peter like had the car be fixed, and like no one knew what was going on with the car, and like he was trying to hide their relationship. Like no one could know that they were together, and also that they killed someone.
I can't believe Brooke was dating her best friend's dad.
Yeah, I can't believe I missed all the clues about that. Like when Katrine was like, she disappeared for 20 minutes one night, and she was like saying that Brooke must have been hooking up.
I thought she was trying to frame Malcolm.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a real clue. I was like, oh, like maybe she was in the bathroom for a long time, or like I don't know what she was doing. But the fact that like the dad was having an affair with these young girls like 5 years ago and now, and like anyone else in between or like before that, it's all gross and just ugh.
Yeah. I was like so confused. I was like, why are you saying that? And like, why do you keep trying to pin Malcolm for this? And when she was like, ask her out, she doesn't have a boyfriend anymore. I was like, why are you doing this to Malcolm? Like, I thought they were legit trying to frame them to take the spotlight off of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mean.
Which POV did you guys like better? And did you feel that they were distinct and developed?
I like both.
I like both too. I listened to the audiobook for most of it, so it was very easy to keep them separate because there are two narrators, a guy and a girl. So like it was very clear like whose head we were in.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have a preference. I liked both of them. They both brought like interesting things to the table.
Yeah. I think I preferred Ellery just because like she had more, I don't know, I liked her true crime, like analytical mind. Like I liked how she was suspicious of people and like she would generate new theories. But I liked Malcolm a lot too. And he had a lot more personal connect. Like there were so many characters, we needed two main characters to like cover all of the relationships and like make sure that we are seeing from multiple sides.
Yeah.
I can't remember a thought for more than 30 seconds today.
Do you have a favorite POV?
Oh, POV. Yeah, I really liked both, but I had a different thought. Oh, can we talk about like the fact that a theme park was named Murderland?
Right?
What the heck? Why? Whenever would this be okay? Like, it inspires such a bad rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess
it like gives permission to be Murderland.
Yeah.
It's asking for people to be murdered.
Yeah.
I'm surprised only like one person who was murdered there.
And then the fact that everyone was like, yeah, let's just go there. It's just what we do here. And I'm like, but they're rebranding because someone was murdered there. Wow. Were you guys suspicious of Vance at all?
Of who?
Vance.
Not really. Because I felt like it would have been, I don't know, it was like she was trying to paint him as like an obvious option as a suspect. And I was like, well, I don't really feel like it'd be that obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
have a little mystery
suspicious of him. Like, I entertained many theories. Like, there was definitely a couple where he could have been involved somehow. There was also a part where, like, he seemed surprised that Sadie still remembered him. And it's like, but you guys were like went to prom together, and like Sadie lost her virginity to you. Like, I think she remembers you, kind of situation.
I think it's like she's a celebrity now because she loves them all.
Yeah. But for a while I thought like, well, then maybe like Sadie didn't go to prom with him or something like that. Like she was lying about that. I don't know. I did entertain some thoughts around like maybe like. Because Ellery kind of dismissed Vance, was like, oh, Vance has an alibi for Sarah's disappearance because he was with Sadie. So for a while I did think like, what if he wasn't with Sadie though? And like he doesn't have an alibi for that first disappearance.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem too driven or like smart enough to like be committing all of these murders and like being sneaky about it.
He seemed like just a guy who's like kind of lost his way. I did entertain in the notion that like he and Brooke were dating for like a second.
Yeah, when they had that one like heated discussion that Malcolm saw, yeah.
Because he's always at her booth at the Fright Farm too.
Yeah.
I like that Ellery could beat him every time.
Yeah.
I was like, haha. Let's see.
We were asking about the audiobook, and you guys both listened to it, right?
Yeah. What about it?
Just what you thought of the audiobook. Did anyone listen to it?
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't like standout amazing, but I think they did a good job.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I tend to prefer reading with my eyes when I'm like in that mood to like sit down and read. Like I was traveling for most of the day, which is why the audiobook like was easier for me because I could kind of afford to be distracted a little bit with like my surroundings while still focusing on listening. But like even after I had time to sit down and read and I could look at it, I just preferred to sit there and listen to it. Like I enjoyed the narrators a lot and I liked just hearing the story.
I started by reading it and then went to the audiobook, and at first I didn't like the way they were talking it because in my head it was different, but I got used to it. It was fun.
Do you guys think Peter has more victims?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he has to.
I feel like this kind of behavior is like chronic when it's this type of a killer. Like they don't go very long without repeating the cycle.
Yeah, and Peter isn't always in Echo Ridge. Like he sometimes travels for business and stuff. So like he could have other victims like not in Echo. Like we've solved all the murders in Echo Ridge in this time.
Is this his weird wife? Like
yeah, I have some questions about his other wives for sure.
Yeah, like where are they? And she says she like never talks to her mom. And it's like, what does her mom know? And why isn't she even turned in and all this stuff? Like, because even if she just caught him cheating with a young girl, the girl was still underage. Like, they're not 18. It's ew. Yeah, there's a lot there with Peter that we didn't get to see because I feel like it was rated PG-13.
Yeah, like this could have been much darker and like much more scandalous and like terrible. But we also balanced like romance a lot, and like for a while, like in the second chapter, Ellery comes across a dead body, and she doesn't really seem too scarred by that for like the beginning of the book. And that was one thing that I kind of wanted to see more of. Like, I know that we needed, especially because Brooke doesn't go missing until halfway through the book. So like, we needed to have a body early on to like kind of set the tone for like, this is where we're gonna die. But like, it didn't seem to affect the people who like came across his dead body as much as like I feel like I would be affected by something like that.
I feel like it
can't get out of your mind kind of thing.
Yeah.
It affected the girls who knew him, like it affected the people at school more, I feel like. And really
still like just seeing a death in the way that they saw it.
Like you're driving and then all of a sudden there's a dead body in the middle of the road. Like that can be traumatic.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel, but also maybe because Ellery is so engrossed in like this.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Because
watching
crime and like she's really into that stuff, so maybe she is like a little desensitized to that.
The first thing she does when she gets there is like, "Oh, I'm gonna walk over to Murderland by myself." I was just like, "What are you doing, Ellery?" I forgot what I was gonna say. I hate Cold Brain. I had another thought. Go ahead, anyone else?
I have a thought, but it's like so out of left field. I wanted the carbon monoxide scene to be longer. I wanted to see more of, like, that scene with Peter like taunting them and being terrible. I don't know why.
Yeah, because
like, there wasn't much of like a payoff there.
Yeah, it was a payoff moment, and it went really quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like an effort to like end the book at a certain word count almost.
Or even just to keep it PG-13.
Yeah, or to keep it PG-13. Like, I don't know if you guys, has anyone seen that scene in the Vampire Diaries where Bonnie almost dies of carbon monoxide poisoning? Because, like, that scene is so dramatic and grueling, and you're like, yeah, it was like the same sort of a feeling, and that's what like my visual was because I had seen that with my eyes.
I wanted them to like think a little bit out of the box. Like when Peter is holding the gun with them and he's like, follow me, like obviously they know that like he's intending to kill them. Like I would have wanted to fight like more in that room, because like if he shoots them with a gun in that room, that's a ton of evidence. Like you might die, but like the killer is not getting away after something like that. Whereas if you let him take you down to the basement and lock you in there, like he gets away with it, kind of.
Right.
Yeah. We went from like 0 to 100 with him so quick. It was like,
it was just all of a sudden. Yeah, he hits a gun. I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like, because it kind of like blacks out and she's like in the hospital or whatever.
Yeah.
Like one of them to like have a foggy vision and like have them like see what's happening with them being like rescued or whatever. But,
oh my god. You know what would have been great if she opened her eyes and Peter was in the room and he was like, because they came and he was like, I don't know what happened. They were just down there. If he managed to spin it, that would have been creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And like especially if they couldn't talk, they were like half unconscious, and Peter is there like, I don't know what happened. Like when Ryan, the cop, shows up and like Peter just happens to be leaving and like he starts driving into Canada. Like I don't know why Peter, he has a gun. Like why didn't he try to fight Ryan off or like try to stop Ryan from discovering them, or like
I think it's the same reason. Like he doesn't want to give them any reason to suspect him.
Then he just upped and drove to Canada. Like
I know, but like if he tried to fight him, it's like, oh, that's so obvious he did it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's why I wanted them to fight him. Why I wanted Ellery and Malcolm to like fight him in the bedroom, because like he can't get away from that if like they're shot in their room.
Yeah, they're trying to fight a guy with a gun.
Yeah, I also wanted I thought like maybe Ellery when they like couldn't find something to open the door, like I wanted her to like start like carving into the wall like Peter did it or something like that, like something like give
them to get out. It was very scary.
Do we want to talk about our next Booksplosion books of the month now?
Yeah, let's go through our lineup. We have our lineup through May, which is super.
Yeah. We have all of our books lined up for the next 3 months here. So who wants to talk about March?
I'm excited for March. Can I say it?
You can say it.
Okay. for March, we're going to be reading Restore Me by Tahereh Mafi.
Yay! I'm so excited.
Finally, like, be able to, like, I have to read this month, so I'm allowed to sit down and do it.
Yeah, so this is the 4th book in the Shatter Me series. The first 3 books are kind of one trilogy arc, and now we're having another trilogy arc. Book 4 is the first one in this new trilogy arc, and book 5 actually comes out this month. So we thought it was good timing to like get back in on this series.
Faux show. Don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah.
I have none of the books with me, so you guys can do this together.
Okay, our April book of the month is To Best the Boys by Mary Weber. This is a new release, and we're working with the publisher Harper on this one. This comes out March 19th, so it's not out for a couple weeks, but it will be our April book of the month. So yeah. Oh, and this is about, briefly, it's about, there's like this very prestigious like scholarship, but it's only available to boys in this society. So this is about a girl who disguises herself as a boy and tries to enter in this like game competition in order to win the scholarship. Set in like a, I believe it's like a fantasy world. Yes, fantasy.
I'm excited for this one.
Got a nice cover. I really like it.
I don't have the May one right next to me. Do you guys have it?
I do. I've already read this book.
I'm so excited for this one.
I'm really excited for this one. So our May book of the month is going to be The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. And we're all really excited about this because we read Ashley's other book, Geekerella, and we all loved that one so much. And this is not a direct sequel. Like, I don't think you need to read Geekerella to read this, but I do think you will get more out of this if you've read Geekerella first. And yeah, I've already read this. I read it in a single sitting, just like with Geekerella, because Ashley just writes such great, fun, geeky, like this book takes place over like 3 days at a convention, and it's just so fun and cute.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Here's our lineup for the next 3 months.
I love this lineup. It looks.
I love it too. I'm so excited about all of these books.
Oh, we're gonna jump back into Warner.
Yeah, Warner and Juliet and Kenji.
Yeah.
Kenji's the best.
Did you say James is the best?
Kenji is the best.
It's like, who's James?
So yeah, our live show for Restore Me is going to be March 26th. Saturday, March 26th. Is that the date?
That's
right?
Not
No, 23rd.
Yes.
23rd. Saturday, March 23rd is when we will be discussing this book. Which this book has been out for over a year now. So I feel like a lot of people have already read that. So even though our live show is a little bit early, like it'll be okay. Plenty of people have read this.
I like hardcore need to read a recap of Ignite Me because I watched my. Did I watch my?
I was gonna say I was just gonna watch. I know I did a review for it too. I was just gonna watch a bunch of reviews and recaps.
Yeah, I watched my book talk, but like I was more excited about like specific moments than like going through the story. So I have to do that. Is anybody out there?
We're out here.
That's so quiet.
I was looking at the comments. I haven't looked at them for a while.
Wow, do we want to take any more questions or?
Yeah, if you guys have any final questions, now is the time to send those in.
Now is the time. Some people asked which book did you prefer, One of Us is Lying or Two Can Keep a Secret? And I think I prefer Two Can Keep a Secret, but I love the characters in One of Us is Lying.
Yeah. But the thing is, with One of Us is Lying, like you're getting all those different perspectives. This one we only got 2 perspectives, so it was hard to get to know like a lot of the side characters, which we still did, but just not as much.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I haven't read One of Us is Lying. This was my first Karen McManus book, so I don't have a comparison. But this was great. So
yeah, I think I'll say this one just because I didn't call the ending.
Yeah.
I called the ending of the other one, so I feel better about this one.
Right.
Okay, y'all. So hopefully you'll join us in the coming months. We got Restore Me coming up, and of course then To Best the Boys and Fangirl. Thank you so much for joining us for
Princess and the Fangirl. If you say just Fangirl, it sounds like that Rainbow Rowell book.
Did I say Fangirl?
I just said Fangirl, yeah.
I should not speak today. I'm so sorry for everything I've said wrong today. I don't know what's coming out of my mouth.
So yeah, this is our lineup for the next few months, and I think that's gonna do it for this live show today. So thank you guys for tuning in to our Booksplosion Book of the Month live show for Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. Yeah, we hope to see you in the coming months for our future lineup.
Yeah. All right, guys. Bye.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.